Hello and welcome everyone to the course Industrial Robotics and Automation. Today we'll be having our last class for the automation part of the course. And in today's class we'll be continuing with the practice problems related to programmable logic controllers. Okay, so we'll straight away start with the practice problem. Fine, so today we'll be attempting a problem, okay, a fluid power problem, and we'll try to solve it with the PLCs. Okay, so let us first define the problem. Okay, so what is the problem? Okay, so the problem is you have two double acting cylinders, okay, denoted by 1A and 2A. Fine, so these are the double acting cylinders. The sequence of their operation, okay, what is the sequence of their operation? It is 1A plus, okay, then 2A plus, fine, and then 1A minus and 2A minus together. Okay, that is the return motion happens together at the same time. Fine. So when I say 1A plus means the extension of the first cylinder. Okay, and then the extension of the second cylinder, that is 2A plus, and then you have your retraction of both the cylinders together, that is 1A minus and 2A minus. Fine. Now what are the conditions for extension and retraction? Okay, so next the conditions, okay, for the extension and retraction. Okay, fine. So again, what are the condition for 1A plus? Okay, that is the extension of the first cylinder. The condition is both the cylinders should be at the retracted end positions. Fine. That means your cylinder 1A, okay, that is this cylinder, it should start extending only when, before extending it should ensure that both this cylinder 1A and 2A both are at its retracted position. That means you basically these piston is at these positions, the retracted end positions, that is are these positions. Okay, fine, right. Then the next sequence is what? 2A plus. Okay, so let us define the condition for 2A plus. Okay, the condition for 2A plus is that one A has completely extended, fine, and okay, and 2A is in the retracted end position. Fine, and then your third step is what? 1A minus and 2A minus. Okay, what is the condition for this? Cylinder 2A has completely extended. Fine. So these are the three conditions. Fine, because you had three sequence here, if you see. Okay, so this is your problem that you can see in the screen. Okay, so you have two double acting cylinders. Okay, both of them are double acting. Okay, denoted by 1A and 2A, and then the sequence is 1A plus, 2A plus, 1A minus and 2A minus. Fine, at the same time. Then the conditions for all the three sequence. Okay, when should your cylinder first extend 1A, when should your cylinder 2A extend, and when should the third sequence, that is 1A minus and 2A minus, should initiate. Okay, so these are the conditions given. Okay, now you have to execute this using a PLC. Fine. So now tell me, I should have input from your side. What would be the first step? Okay, since this is a fluid power problem, tell me what should be the first step.
So the cylinder data.
Fine, that means you have to draw the pneumatic circuit first, right?
Yes.
So let us draw the pneumatic circuit. Fine, so the first one is your pneumatic circuit. Fine, so for the pneumatic circuit, what we have, we will of course be having this cylinder here. Okay, and then we will be having another cylinder. Fine. Now since it's a double acting cylinder, which type of valve will be required?
5/2 way.
5 by 2 way, right? Okay, so it will be a 5 by 2 way. What it should be? Should it be pilot operated or solenoid operated or what?
Pilot operated. Solenoid operated.
Yes, good. It should be solenoid operated, right? One side or both side? Anyone?
Both sides. Both sides.
Both sides. Good. Fine. So it should be both sides. I'm not drawing the all this exact diagrams here because we'll be focusing on the PLC part. So you will be having one like this. Fine, and the other envelope here. Then in this also, you are going to have a 5 by 2 solenoid valve here. Fine. Right, so this is my cylinder 1A and this is my cylinder 2A. Fine, so these solenoids have to be named something. What it would be your naming of these solenoids for cylinder 1A? The left one?
1/1.
Just give me a minute. Okay, fine. So is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so again this would be your 1y1 and then this would be your 1y2. Fine, then you will be having your 2y1 and 2y2 here. Fine, and then we'll be giving a compressor source here. Okay, this is a drain port or just like this. Fine, so this is your pneumatic circuit. Anything else needed here? Anyone? Anything else needed?
Sir, extended between a pistol and
Sorry, what?
The roller.
Ruler? What?
The roller valve.
Roller valve.
in
Okay.
in
Roller
position कैसे मतलब उसके लिए
end positions, right? So we require some type of sensors, right? Or a limit switch. If you talk about sensors, it can be your proximity switches. Okay, for example, your capacitive, inductive, or any other magnetic. Second option is you can also have a these limit switches in the form of a roller valve, which actually give which signal? Does it give pneumatic signal or with a electrical signal? Which one will you be using here? A roller valve,
Electric signal.
electric signal. Okay, good. So let us actually use two sensors here. Fine. Say one here and the other. So say I am using my and then 2B1, fine, and this is the extended position 2B2, right? So these are the four, say I am using any proximity switches, 1B1, 1B2, 2B1 and 2B2 for this. Anything else required in this pneumatic diagram? Anyone?
The buttons for switches.
Buttons or switches. Do you require here?
no sir
No, sir, in the electric diagram.
वो electrical part में आ जाएगा
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, right. So that will not be required in the pneumatic portion. Fine. Now we'll go ahead with the connection diagram. Okay, see, one way was that the cylinder would automatically start like this. Okay, then again in the problem sequence itself, it should say that these motions should start here with the press of a push button. Okay, with a press of a push button. That means one cycle it will execute. Once you press a push button, then this entire sequence 1a plus, 2a plus, 1a minus and 2a minus would execute. Fine, for one cycle. So this was the pneumatic circuit. Now we will come to the second part. What did we discuss yesterday? Once we have drawn the pneumatic circuit, then what you will do?
connection
Connection diagram.
Yes, good. So we will be making a connection diagram. Fine. Right. So for the connection diagram, okay, so say this is the controller here. Okay, this is the input module, this is the output module. Fine. Now by the time I draw this, you all just try to figure out how many inputs, how many outputs. Okay. Now tell me the number of inputs.
5 inputs, sir.
Okay, so wait once, I'll write it somewhere. Input is here. 5. Okay, and output
4.
4 output. Okay, before you tell me what are these 5 and 4, I'm just asking anyone to other people here. Anyone who's everybody agree with this 5 and 4, or someone is having someone else, some other
No,
figures?
sir. I think one input and four output.
1 input and 4 outputs. Okay, so someone had said, I'm just writing slash, okay, slash, somebody has said 1. Anyone else with some other figures also? Okay, uh, uh, someone has said 1. What is that 1?
Sir, the push button.
The push button. Okay, fine. Okay, so someone has said 5. What are those 5?
Sir, 1 will be the push button and 4 will be for the sensors for each position.
Right. So now is it clear to you, someone who had said 1? Because see, the sensors will give you
Yes,
some sensors will give you some data, na? How are you going to process that data? So basically, all sensors are input devices, isn't it? Suppose you are using a sensor to count the number of people. Okay, say suppose. So whenever the sensor is detecting something, it is giving to the controller a input value, na, to increase the count, right? So that means all the sensors are generally your input devices. Here, if you see in the figure, your 1B1, okay, 1B2, 2B1, 2B2, okay. So these 4 sensors, okay, along with your 1 push button, okay. So that will constitute your input devices. Okay. Now again, are these input device? Okay. Before going into that, output. What are the 4 outputs?
Sir, for both the 5 by 2 evolve, 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 2 by
Yeah.
1.
So basically, the solenoids in the 5 by 2 valve for both, isn't it? So both this. So 2 solenoids in the first 5 by 2 valve and the other 2 solenoids in the second 5 by 2 valve, right? So that actually constitute 4. For example, if I just highlight it with green, these 4, fine. Okay. Now once we are done with the input and the output devices, then we have to actually segregate them into whether these inputs are digital or these inputs are analog. Tell me. Because only according to that we can use a module. Are these 5 inputs a digital input, or are these 5 inputs an analog input?
Sir, push button is a digital input, sir.
Okay, push button is a digital, fine. Okay, and if you are using proximity switches, what would that be?
The digital only, sir.
Yeah, that would be digital. That means if you just recall that figure here, okay, that we used to draw when we are using an electrical diagram in the electropneumatic circuit, what we used to do, how the connections was made. Right, so this was a plus 24 volt connection, this was a 0 volt, and this was what, this line was what here, output line, isn't it? So whenever it detects something in the vicinity, you get a output here, right? So that output was either 24 volt or 0 volt. That means you actually had a binary output, that is a digital connection. Okay, that means you are only detecting whether the object is present in the vicinity or not. Okay, it is not saying how close it is. Fine. So that means,
Sir, can we have another input as a like master reset, like compressor on command? Whenever there is the compressor will be on, then only this will work, right? So that can also be one of the compressors or the motor of the compressor. So that can also be tripped by the controller.
Yeah, so because see that actually the compressor tripping and all those things, they work on a separate circuit. Okay, if you can if you want to control even the compressor also with this, then of course that can be an input. Okay,
DO can go directly to the MCC.
yeah, that can be if you want to also control the same compressor also with the same number of with the same PLC.
Yes,
Right,
yes, sir.
right.
Yes.
But right now we are actually just not considering that into definitely. Okay, so that means you are having all 5 digital inputs and your outputs are what, whether they are digital or analog. These solenoid valves, see if it is a proportional, if it is a proportional solenoid, then it will be analog. But if they are only solenoids, for example, they either open or close the valve. Okay, there are no for example any proportional opening, then they will all come into a digital one. Fine. So that means right now we are only completely extending or retracting the cylinder, right? At what speed and all those things we are not seeing. So that means these will consider these output to be as a digital. That means either they shift this spool towards the left or they shift this spool towards the right. Fine. So that means they are all digital outputs. Okay. Now we'll assume that both this input and output modules are inbuilt. Okay. Fine. Or say, let us for practice example, this input module here is in slot 0. Okay. And this output module is in slot 3. Fine. Now let us start to make the connection diagrams of the input. So basically we have a push button here. Okay. And then we are going to connect basically 4 sensors. So that means you know what, we have to draw this figure here. This entire thing will actually come here. Okay. So since these lines are going to be very close, I am not drawing this thing here. Just I am drawing it like this. Okay, a box where all these things are there. Okay, and its input here. Fine. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Fine. So basically all this will have a ground here. Okay, and these will all be plus 24 volt connections. Okay, so this line, and then these sensors will have these ground elements here, and then of course the symbols for the interior and all this thing I'm not drawing, I'm just naming them as 1B1, 1B2, 2B1, 2B2. Fine. And then I will be drawing connecting my output. Fine. So these are my 1Y1, 1Y2, 2Y1 and 2Y2. Fine. So once the connection diagram is ready, now the third and the final portion will be a ladder logic. Fine. So now the logic you have to build according to this, according to the sequence. Okay, and even in the sequence basically you have to see this condition. Okay, so that means you have to see the rungs. Okay, so basically let us start with the drawing of the ladder logic diagram. Fine. So you are going to have this rung here and a 0 volt connection here. So now let us do the first logic. The first step was 1A plus step, isn't it? We'll just write at this side 1A plus. What was the condition for 1A plus? Anyone? Just read the condition.
Push button एक होगा sir.
Okay, so the condition for 1A plus is that both the cylinders should be at their retracted end positions. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Right now? So both this should be at the retracted end position. How are you going to measure, or how are you going to ensure that these cylinders are in the retracted end position?
By the sensor 1B1 and 2B1.
Great. So 1B1 and 2B1, right? And it also says that the entire cycle should start by pressing a push button.
Sure.
Okay. So now just try to build the logic. So you will be having basically how many excises here? 3 excises in the first run. Good. So basically I'll be having 3 excises, 1, 2, 3, and then what will come here? 1
by 1.
OTE in the form of 1 by 1. Okay. So basically you are going to have your S1, okay, your 1B1 here, and what? Another
2B1.
2B1. Very good. With 2B1, and what will be your output? How is the cylinder 1 going to yes,
1 by 1.
1 by 1. So if someone wants to just see how will this cylinder 1 here 1A extend only when this is executed, that is your 1 by 1. Okay. So these are only the generic names or the common names. You actually have to give the addressing to these inputs. Okay. So let us do the addressing by seeing here. So S1, what would be the addressing for the S1?
Colon 0.
0.
I colon 0 and then
Dot 0 slash 1.
dot 0 slash 1 or slash 0?
0.
0.
Yes, slash 0, because no, it is connected to the 0th bit here. Fine. And then similarly you can go on I colon 0.0 slash 1 is your 1B1, and where is your 2B1 connected to? What it should be? 0 slash
3.
3. Very good. Now 1Y1, what should be your condition here? Keep in mind that the output is in slot number 3. If you see here. Now tell me.
Row column 3 dot 0 slash 0.
O colon 3 dot 0 slash 0. Okay, everyone fine with this? Anyone having any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, so this is your first run. With this, what would happen? Your cylinder 1A would extend. Okay, and then the second loop, that is your, once the cylinder 1A has completely extended, then your cylinder 2 should extend. Okay, so what is the condition for cylinder 2 to extend? It says 1A has completely extended and, okay, and 2A, before extending it should ensure that 2A is in the retracted end position. Okay, then what are the conditions for basically actuating 2Y1 then?
So 1B2 should be positive.
So first tell me how many excises will be here?
1v2.
Will it be push button? Are you sure?
No, sir.
Sir, no, sir.
Then what would be? Tell me. Somebody had told me 2. 2 is correct. You figure out what will be that. First, when the cylinder 1A has completely extended, which sensor would get triggered?
Sir, 1v2 and 2v1.
Good. So it will be 1B2 here. Okay. And which sensor is ensuring that the cylinder 2 is in retracted position? It is 2B1, right? Fine. So when both these conditions are there, then your 2Y1 will get triggered. Okay. So let us do the addressing here. Although the addressing should typically be on the top, but since there is no space, I'm just doing it here. Where is 1B2 connected? At slot 2. And then similarly 2B1 is in position number 3. Similarly for output, you will write as O colon, sorry, not 3, this would be O colon 3.0 slash 2Y1 is connected here, okay, at 2 position. So you will be writing this. Fine. So with this, what would happen? Your cylinder 2A will extend. Okay. Now coming to the third and the final sequence, that is your simultaneous retraction of both the cylinders. Okay. And what is the condition for that? If you see here, what is the condition? Cylinder 2A has to be completely extended. Okay. So once the second cylinder is completely extended, then both the cylinders will retract back. Okay. So what will be the condition here? The third rung when I draw?
1v2 and 2v2.
Good. It will be 2B2. Isn't it? So third rung is here. Okay. Now tell me, how will the output be drawn here, or the OTs?
It would be in parallel.
Very good. So one output here, okay, and the other output will come here itself. Fine. This will become as 2B2, and this will be your 1Y2 and 2Y2. Fine. And if you do the addressing, where is 2B2 connected in the connection diagram? To bit number 4. So what you will do? You will just be writing as 4, and if you see 1Y2 and 2Y2, they are connected in 1 and 3. Fine. So is it okay? You all have
Yes, sir.
understood? Anyone who did not understand this? Any other rung will come, or will it end here?
Sir, it will.
Yeah, it will end here. Okay. So because you had only 3 conditions. So whenever you are pressing a push button and these conditions are true, it is going to send. How many cycles will this work on?
One time.
Only one time. Okay. Why the second time it will not work? Anyone? Because see, when the cylinders are retracted back, then of course your 1B1 and 2B1 is triggered, right?
But the push button is not.
Push the switch button, not a switch.
Yes, very good. Because this will remain open. Okay, although these two will close when the cylinder has retract. Okay, but this will remain open. So until unless you do not press it again, the second cycle would not come. So if I have to make it a continuous cycle, then what would I have to do?
convert enable switch.
पैरेलल में डाल देंगे दो.
So sir, the push button will be removed, replaced by a switch.
See, both ways. What he is saying na, कि either a switch here, or okay, instead of a push button, either we can have a switch, or somebody said if I add this one in parallel. Correct? Did you get this? If suppose I add switch S1 in parallel, but in that case, even in the first time, okay, you do not require to press the switch. Why? Because when these two cylinders are at the retracted end positions, of course then 1B1 and 2B1 will initiate, okay, and this is this switch is basically not in this position. If you place it in the parallel, then what would happen? You will still have a current to flow through this. Right? Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? So in that case, your earlier, although this will run continuously, okay, but then what would happen? Your condition was that the circuit should start with using a press of a push button. That will not be here. If you make this logic by putting the switch in the OR connection here, okay, that means a cycle will run continuously, but then again your S1 will have no significance here, push button S1. Fine. So in that case, if suppose somebody says there has to be a button there, either be it a push button or a switch, okay, so a push button will result in your cycle to continue for only one time, okay, as well as the switch will result in the continuous operation of the cycle until unless you do not switch it off, okay. So see, now you all are getting all these points, okay, you are understood. Any issue? Who did not understand? See, it is very, very important you know how this.
So in case of a parallel connection, if push button is not pushed, then also it will start working.
Yeah, then also it will start working.
Push button is just is of no use.
Is of no use. That is why I wanted to explain here. Even if you don't press the push button, okay, only if you don't even add a push button, still it will work, right?
Yes.
Yeah, still it will work and it will work continuously.
Yes.
Okay, the moment you give the power to it, you switch on all the PLC, then this system will work continuously.
So which type of proximity will give, like capacitive or inductive?
I told you these are only different type. They all work in the same way. Means only the workings is different, but they all do the same work. So either you can use capacitive, you can use inductive, you can use magnetic.
Depending upon application, we should decide.
Yes, yes. Basically, see what is the difference between inductive, capacitive, and magnetic. Magnetic only works if your piston rod is of ferromagnetic material, right?
Yes.
Because it actually detects the piston rod that is actually coming to the retracted end position or the extended position. Okay. Now, say suppose the piston rod is not magnetic, not of ferromagnetic, it is of something else. Then of course you have to go for inductive or a capacitive. Fine. Right? Anyone? Any other question? Okay. Now you have your this diagram here. Just try to change the sequence now. I am giving you the new sequence and you try to draw the PLC diagram. Fine. So the new sequence would be (2A plus), okay, then let us just now keep it simple, 1A plus, okay, fine, and then should I add 2A minus? Okay, then after that just follow the same thing, 1A minus and 2A minus. Okay, of course these two being done simultaneously. Fine. So just try to do this. See, I told you in the PLC you can also add timers and counters, although I have not taught you this because of the paucity of the time here. Suppose if someone asks you, or if I suppose I tell you, okay, I want this to run, I am operating this with a push button instead of, sorry, I am operating this with a switch, okay, and then I press the switch, this cycle should continue only for 5 times or say 10 times, okay. After that, it should not continue even if the switch is pressed on, okay. Then what you are going to add here? You will require one counter, okay. I have not taught you counter, I have not taught you timer, okay, but I'm just saying you will be requiring a counter. That means every time any event, and that event you can actually trigger it by any input devices. For example, so whenever say these two conditions are true here, okay, so whenever these two conditions and these all three are true here, then of course one y1 will get actuated, and you will also initiate one timer here. Fine. So every time this condition is being true, what is happening? Not a timer, a counter. A counter is stepping up the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay. Now you always give a preset value to the counter in the PLC diagram itself. Okay. And whenever the counting value has been equal to that of the preset value, then what would happen? This would stop the circuit, right? So all these types of functionalities are also there in the PLCs. Fine. Similarly, you have your timers also, so that whenever you want to delay any timer, say suppose you want to delay the extension of the second. So suppose when 1A has completely extended, okay, now before 2A will extend, there should be a time delay of suppose at 10 seconds. Fine. That means between these two circuits you are actually going to put a timer, and that timer delay you can set as 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 1 hour, whatever is the case. So all these flexibilities are added up, and all those timers and these counters you are not going to add anywhere physically here. For example, if you recall the your pneumatic circuit, okay, how did you give a time delay? Anyone? You remember one valve, there was a time delay valve, right? So basically there was a tank in which the pressure was getting, the air was getting stored. Once that tank was filled, okay, only then you had your pneumatic signal that is going to flow here. Similarly, in case of an electro-pneumatic circuit, you had a time delay relay, right? But even that relay was a physical device. Okay, why? Because you have to do. In this case, since this all work on a controller system, okay, that means microcontrollers and all those things, you can easily give a delay, and all those delays are all done in the ladder logic diagram itself. You do not have to add any components for that. Okay, that means all the flexibility of adding a delay, or by suppose you have made a program that is actually works for 5 cycles. Somebody comes up tomorrow and say that, okay, now I want to extend this to 10 number of cycles, okay, or I want to give a delay between these two operations, for example 20 seconds delay, 30 seconds delay. What you can do, you just have to reprogram the logic, okay, and then you just have to make changes in the software part, and then you can execute the same into the hardware elements there. Fine. So these are the things that actually you can do with the PLC. You just try to attempt this sequence, what I said, this sequence here.